All right. So here we are. Um, Coach, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to us and tell us what sports you coach here at University for us?
I am Coach Roberts, one of the three of the Coach Robertses, but I coach the boys tennis team and the boys golf team.
Right. And typically, I guess we call you Coach Roberts number one,
That
since we do
correct,
have three of you here. Right.
right?
Because you were the first Coach Roberts at university. Because like you said, we do have your wife and your son both also at university. How, how does that feel, or how does that work at home, or whatever, having both your wife and your son, you know, both also coaching at this school?
Well, it's pretty cool. I mean, but it's really been a part of our lives, our entire life. I've been coaching for 35 years. My wife has been she's basically on the sideline or a team mom or something for a long, long time. She's always been involved with it, and of course, my son grew up being a ball boy for me, and being around all the players. Gosh, I remember when I was at Oak Ridge High School and Justin was just a baby. I had a couple of kids come by, pick him up, and he couldn't have been a year old. And they picked him up, played with him in the yard and stuff like that. So he's been around it. So it's pretty cool though to share an office with him. I would have loved to have coached him in high school. Didn't have a chance to do that, but to be able to coach with him, I've helped out with football as well. So it's been a great experience, really.
Right. Yeah, are there any competitive juices between the three of you going, as far as oh
Oh,
wow, look
of,
what I
of
did?
course. Of course, yeah. My wife coaches the first year and she gets Coach of the Year. It took me 34 years to get that. She does it in her first year. So yeah, we're just so we're absolutely. I mean, competition. That's what it's all about.
Right, right, right. All right. And I know we talked about this a little bit earlier on the phone, so you can definitely expand on this question if you want. But how long have you, well, first, how long have you coached here at university?
For 10 years, all 10
Okay.
years.
And total, how long have you been coaching?
35 years total.
And how many seasons total have you been coaching? That
As
one kind of
as
blew
we
me away a little bit.
yeah, as we talked a little earlier, yeah, this is my 85th season of coaching a sport. I've coached, see if I can remember all of them. Football, I've coached boys track, girls track, girls flag football, girls weightlifting, boys weightlifting. Um, I mean, I've coached a lot of different sports. And like I said, in 35 years, 85 seasons. So there was about 10, 15 years there. I coached three sports a year. So it's been a good ride though. It's been a lot of fun.
Right, no doubt, no doubt. A lot of great memories, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
Um, and you just mentioned a lot of the other sports. And can you, I don't know, mention some? I know you just mentioned Oak Ridge High School. What are some of the other schools that you coached at, and were they all here in Florida?
They were all here in Florida. I started out at Apopka High School. I was at Eustis High School. I was at Oak Ridge High School, and I actually opened up the other University High School in Orlando when it first opened. So it's
Right.
kind of strange that I've opened up two university high schools here in the state of Florida. And I was at Lake Highland Prep for a couple of years, and I was in Brevard County, and then I was at Deltona for 13 years until university opened up.
Okay. Did you open Deltona High School also?
No, 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 no. That was before. The other university opened up, I believe, in '91. We opened that one up, and Deltona
Okay.
opened up in the late '80s.
Oh, okay. All right. And what other, or where did you grow up?
I grew up in Key West, Florida.
Okay. And before high school, as a youngster, did you what sports did you participate in like in rec league or things like that?
In Key West, there wasn't a lot of opportunities for a lot of different sports because we were an hour and a half away from the mainland. So I learned to water ski on the ocean. I learned to spearfish and do things like that. But I played a lot of tennis, not competitively, but played a lot of tennis with some of the other football players. Of course, played basketball and things like that. Nothing other than football in high school, though. Like I said, there wasn't a lot of sports, to travel out an hour and a half, 2 hours one way. Just it was very difficult, to have a lot of different activities to do that with.
Right, right. Okay. Well, that's heck. I think that's kind of neat. You're spearfishing and water skiing. Was your childhood. That would
Yeah,
that to me that's kind of cool.
yeah, that was I missed those times. That's for sure because it was nice going out and diving for lobster and things like that. But like I said, like even in football, our closest away trip was 2.5 hours because we played everybody from Miami to Fort Lauderdale. We actually played DeLand my first year when I was a sophomore. That was our first football game. DeLand came
Wow.
down to us. And then my junior year, we went up to DeLand. So those were some nice trips because they were overnight and on a big, big bus.
Yeah. You missed a whole day of school for that then.
Absolutely. Oh yeah.
Do you remember who won?
Of course. The first year. Well, the first year we beat DeLand. It was 19-5, and all we heard about at DeLand at that time, if you probably may remember, all we heard about was this Nautilus and how big
Right.
and how strong and how they lift weights and all this. Well, they didn't prepare for the humidity down there in Key West, and we were in really really good shape, and we outlasted them, and we ended up winning 19-5 that first time.
Okay. And the year that you came up here to them,
Yeah,
do you
I
remember
think
that?
that they got us that time.
Okay. The humidity might not have been as bad that year.
I guess not.
Okay. I don't like it when the land wins, but hey,
Yeah.
Um, all right. And let's see, we got over that. And as a coach, again, with 85 seasons, there has to be a lot of memorable occasions. Can you tell us about maybe just one or two of your most memorable occasions as a coach?
Well, I can tell you my very first year when I was at Apopka, we went undefeated, won the first Metro Conference championship. We were number one in the state and ended up losing to Merritt Island in the first round of the playoffs.
Oh, wow.
Um, but I mean, that was a heck of a way to start a coaching career. But there's been a lot of there's been some players that I've seen go to college that I've liked watching. Talby Crawford, when we were at Oak Ridge, he played for LSU. Um, I'm trying to think. When I was at university, we came up to play Deltona, and we were down. It was a I think a 7-7 game, and it was maybe 10 seconds left, and we were down on the 10-yard line coming out, and we threw the ball, and two of our receivers, I was screaming, no, no, no. Two of our receivers were running the same route, and it hit off of one of them into the other, and we went down and scored and won the game. That was a heck of a memory there.
So that was a no, 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 yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Right, right.
But yeah, there's a lot of
And
them as I go through there. There's a lot of playoff wins in football. There's a lot of teaching. Had a couple of boys that played football for me at Lake Highland Prep, and teaching them how to pole vault was
right.
quite interesting. They could have probably high jumped as high as they pole vaulted, but it was pretty funny. It was pretty good. But so there's been an awful lot though.
And actually, before I get to asking you that question, that same question as an athlete, I need to rewind probably because I skipped a question and ask you about beyond high school and as a college athlete, where did you go and pursue your college athletic career?
I was fortunate enough to have a scholarship to play at University of Florida and to play football there, and played there till I got hurt. I thought that I would play. I think every football player thinks you're going to play forever, and I certainly was one of those. And then, of course, getting hurt, the next best thing to me was to coach and to stay in the game, to stay with it, and that's what really got me into coaching.
Okay, and so now I'll go back to that question. As an athlete, do you have a memory, a memorable situation or a memorable occasion that sticks into your head that's definitely going to stick with you for a long time?
Well, in high school, my dad was my high school football coach. He was our head coach, and so we had a lot of time together. It worked out really well, though, that we did not take it home most of the time. He would have a few corrections here or there, but I would say, gosh, probably the worst memorable, the worst time that I remember was my freshman year at Florida when we were playing Georgia, and we were going to go to the Sugar Bowl. We weren't supposed to beat Georgia that year. They had Herschel Walker. He was a freshman, and it was 3rd and 15, and there was about 50 seconds left. We had him down on the 7-yard line, and they threw a pass over the middle. Our free safety slipped, and he ran for a touchdown, and the game was over. And we ended up losing that game. All the people in the Sugar Bowl were shaking their hands and things like that. But that was unfortunately a bad memory. But I've had some great memories. Gosh, we were in the 3 years that I played varsity football, we went to the playoffs every year. Went to the second round every year, and almost made it to the state championships. But we had some good times though.
Okay, that's something that a lot of people can't say for sure. So that's definitely a big thing. And one thing that you hope that all the athletes throughout all 85 seasons that you've coached get from being a part of your teams that you've coached, what is one thing you hope those athletes get from being a part of your teams?
Well, I mean, I would say it's going to be more than one thing, but in life, there are so many things that you can learn from playing sports. And I hope that, and I believe, because I do see ex-players all the time. And, the one thing is learning how to deal with failures, learning how to deal with successes, and learning not to quit when things get tough and because in life, I mean, it's too easy. You can quit a marriage. You can quit a job when things get tough. And hopefully through, the things that I've taught and instilled, not to quit, to persevere, to work hard, be fair, learn how to work with someone, being cooperative, all those things have, life lessons to them, whether, it's a job, whether it's a marriage, whether it's a family. So, that's probably my biggest thing. I think that hopefully that they've learned from me.
Right. And, the last thing I got for you is what is maybe something you'd like to leave your athletes or your students or whoever, as we wrap this up, what's one thing you'd like to say to them all, as we're going through this unique situation?
Well, just to hang in there. Things will get better. We've been nothing like this before, but in the past we had. A matter of fact, when I was at University High School back in the early '90s, we had I believe it was the encephalitis from the mosquitoes. That was going around, and we actually had to play one year. We had to play all of our football games at 3 o'clock in the afternoon because they did not want anybody out when the mosquitoes were coming out. So
Right.
to play in stands that had 10 people, 15 people, parents couldn't get off to watch their kids play. So there's things that happen, and you have to adjust. But it will get better, and they just need to hang in there and take advantage of every minute they have when they get back to school, because it goes by fast. And their senior year is going to be here before they know it. And participate in as many things as you can, and have fun with it.
Right. Right. Well, all right, Coach. You got anything else that maybe I didn't ask, or?
I don't think so.
Well, all right. Well, I appreciate your time, and that's pretty much all I got for now. So thank you for your time, and I'll talk to you later.
Sounds good. I appreciate it.
Okay.
All right.